This is going to be your guide for everything you need to do before Pokemon Bank becomes available for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, the first thing is pretty obvious, but at least make sure you've downloaded Pokemon Bank and that everything is sorted out. Also, don't forget about Poke Transporter. That's probably been like 3 years or longer since you've even used Poke Transporter, so you can download it through the Pokemon Bank. Download Pokemon Bank, go to Poke Transporter, download, and then it will ask you right here, but since I haven't downloaded, I'm good to go. Also, make sure your Pokemon Bank is all up and running, that you do need to refresh your pass if you haven't paid for it in a while, and it will require a subscription fee, so it's best if you just get all that credit card information stuff out of the way now, instead of scrambling when Pokemon Bank becomes available. Also, just make sure Nintendo Network ID, everything is all sorted out. After that, you want to hop into your Pokemon Sun or Moon version, and then you want to expand your PC. So your PC can have up to 32 boxes of storage, which is really nice. There's over 800 Pokemon. That gives you an extra wiggle room for just spares or the entire living dex, whatever you want to do. And a good way of filling out these boxes is by having a single Pokemon in all of the boxes. So what you need to do is just use the multi-drag feature. I find it works out pretty well, because then you can go and fill up your boxes that way by simple drag and drop. So it's the green box in the top right of your bottom screen, and then you just need to go and grab random Pokemon and slide them around. And then after that, you will need to exit your PC, then enter it once again, and that will expand all of your boxes. And now that I'm done with that, we can see that we magically have our full PC box unlocked. It's really that simple. Now, I don't know if there's a specific Pokemon number requirement. I just have caught a lot of Pokemon. I started distributing them through the boxes, and that's how you can max out your PC box space. And then also, it's recommended that if you have a lot of junk Pokemon that you want to send into the Pokemon Bank, that's what it is. It is a bank. You can use it for storage of all the extra Pokemon that you're not really using. So you can also start grouping together Pokemon like, oh, I have a lot of rejects and duplicates that I don't really need eating up this PC space. You can send those Pokemon to the Pokemon Bank and then bring down all the other ones. So one key thing to do, and I think this is going to take up most of your time before Pokemon Bank, is organizing your boxes. Like, I just have Pokemon all over the place. It's all a mess, but make sure you can have like your breeding box separate, or have several breeding boxes, have a competitive box, have just a random Pokemon box, and then have like a collecting box, so you can get all of that out of the way right now. And then also, where you're bringing down Pokemon from the Pokemon Bank, it's also good that you have empty boxes. That way you can just move entire Pokemon down. So you will want to clear out all these random boxes that have like 3 or 4 Pokemon in them. I know it sounds simple, but it's best to do this now instead of after Pokemon Bank has released, and then you're losing time playing like Fissure Machamp or something. And let's be real right now, what are you doing? You're sitting on your computer, you're watching YouTube videos, you might as well just start organizing your Pokemon box while listening to my soothing voice or watching some other YouTuber that's probably better than me. Now, one of the biggest things that few people are talking about are going to be Blissey bases, because Blissey bases are just the most efficient way of getting any Pokemon to level 100, and with Hyper Training in Pokemon Sun and Moon, that means you can take your legendaries that you catch in Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire, Blissey base them to level 100, and that's how you get perfect competitive legendaries through Hyper Training in a pretty easy way. Now, there's many guides on how to do Blissey bases, so I just have all of this right here. I'll leave a post, or I'll leave a link to the Reddit post, because it does a really good job explaining everything that you need to do. But if you haven't done the Blissey bases, pretty much go into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, go to your secret base, manage QR code patterns, go and set that, and then it'll say find a secret base. After that, that will transition you over to the camera. And hey, there's my screen, there's Reddit. So after that, you can go and click on the imager, and you go and scan in all of these. It's pretty finicky though, like it'll still work. I did scan one at some point during this video. There it is. Alright, so yeah, and I kind of got lazy, because in Pokemon Sun and Moon, the QR scanner is really good, but with this, it's a little more precise, and then boom, it'll appear on the secret meadow or the secret shore. Now that's how you get 12 Blissey bases, and pretty much you just need to wait until midnight, because unfortunately you can't go and scan and then immediately battle, but after that you can technically get 24 Blissey trainers a day by making them your secret pal, battling them, and then after that you remove them, and then you can battle them again. Just repeat every day. Battle them in their base, make them the secret pal, battle them in your base, and then remove them. Done. Oh, wow, that's right. You can, yeah, because you can go in your base, and then all the people that you have as your pals, you can go and battle. So that's how you go and do that Blissey strat right there. Other than that, it's not really too bad. All you need to do is just use Swagger, and then the Blisseys will go and kill themselves. And welcome to Blissey bases, guys, where a majority of your time is going to be mashing the A button. That way you can actually get through all the level ups that you're gaining, and there's so many different things you can do. You have the Experience O power. So the Experience O power is definitely going to speed things up, and also, you can kind of bring whatever Pokemon you want. The Blisseys will be poisoned, so they'll go down after a reasonable amount of time, or you can just take the offensive, like Aegislash Sacred Sword is going to slaughter these Blisseys, But at the same time, if you have like 6 level 1 Pokemon that you just hatched, they want to get up to level 100, well, you can have 6 level 1 Pokemon. It might take a while, but then you're good to go. Also, if you teach those Pokemon Swagger, then the Blissies KO themselves just like that. And I don't have any boosting right now, and the experience is absolutely nuts. 19,500 experience from a level 100 Blissey, and then O-Power is going to boost that. And one thing, I don't know if this is like an insult to injury or something, but Lucky Egg can be found on Wild Pelipper using the Dex Nav. So after using the Dex Nav search, there's a higher chance you can get a special item on a Pokemon, and Pelipers have Lucky Eggs, a very high chance. So you can get 6 Lucky Eggs in a very short amount of time, and then that's how you can go and get maximum experience and then hit level 100s like nothing else you've ever seen in Pokemon, even though we only get 1 Lucky Egg in Pokemon Sun and Moon. But wait, there's still more you need to do for Pokemon Bank. Because now it's time to organize your boxes in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Pretty much you just need to make sure the Pokemon that you want to put up, and then the Pokemon you're just pretty much going to leave in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire forever. So I did an okay job throughout the time playing Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I have breeding projects that never really went anywhere. I have some other competitive Pokemon that I was going to breed down as well. I have a box of competitive Pokemon, box of competitive Pokemon. So these are going to be 6th gen competitive Pokemon right here, and then I even have some ancient ones. Like, these are 4th and 5th gen Pokemon from way back in the day. As you can see, some of these, yeah, they don't even have the blue pentagons. After that, go and play some Pokemon on the virtual console that if for some reason you have not downloaded and played red, blue, or yellow version, you need to do so. These games are fantastic, and they do work with the Poke Transporter. Also, the story can take up quite a bit of time, so it's good that you get out of the way now. That way you can immediately get Mewtwo and the legendary birds, pretty much have everything lined up. Now, a little bit of advice is if you're going for maximum efficiency, I do strongly recommend you get red or blue version. It's just easier to missing no glitch in these games, and then that's how you can kind of snowball into getting a lot of really cool things. Now, I also do strongly recommend making sure you don't burn through your rare candies before you complete the storyline. Have a nugget, that way you have an infinite amount of money, and then don't use any TMs. Just pretty much put them in your PC, sit on them, and then wait until you can get some duplication, and then set up some awesome movesets to transfer for the Poke Transporter. I mean, the games are just fun. So you play this, you set it up, and then you get to transfer it later, so might as well get some red and blue out of the way as well. Also, this is going to be your way of getting non-Alolan forms if you don't already have them in XY or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And now the only thing to do is bring your Pokemon from Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, X, or Y into the Pokemon Bank, because even though it's not available for Sun and Moon, it's still very usable for every other game. Now, if you've been caught up in the hustle and bustle of Pokemon Sun and Moon Pokebank, you might have forgotten, yeah, I can still just transfer these guys now and then have them ready. So make sure you have all of your boxes and stuff lined up. So we have Bank, all of these numbers, and then you just kind of keep it all organized from here. So that's why I feel that it's good to do it in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire first. Like, don't go hardcore on it, that don't fully organize it, because you can do some of the touch-up work that you need to do in the Pokemon Bank, but it's a lot easier because you can't use the touchscreen. Listen. I'm tapping the touchscreen and it does nothing. Anyone that's used Pokemon Bank might know this. So it's easier to just like drag and drop an Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and do your sorting that way, and then do any kind of touch-up work in the actual Pokemon Bank. But after that, you just take a Pokemon, you move them around, and then you're going to be good to go. And that's why it's also good to have your full boxes and everything, because after that, we can just change the modes up, and then we can move entire boxes if we need to into the Pokemon Bank, and then we're going to be good to go like that. And then just a closing note for the video, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is still a very valuable game to be using for Pokemon Sun and Moon. There's going to be a lot of exclusive Pokemon because move tutors are not available in Pokemon Sun and Moon. So there's going to be a lot of moves that are locked away in Sun and Moon. And also on the rated battle spot, you can use transfer Pokemon. So you can still breed in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. You can still get battle points, and you can still use your battle points in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. One of the Pokemon that comes to my mind that I'm really excited to see, Last Resort, Z Conversion, Porygon Z. There's a lot of Pokemon like that. Just Power Up Punch as a TM. Make sure all of your Pokemon know Power Up Punch before you transfer them. So it will be a very wise note to not fully transfer all of your Pokemon into Sun and Moon, because there's no backwards compatibility. That you can't put a Ditto into Sun and Moon and then bring it back to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So if you have some good Dittos, or if you have some good breeding pairs and breeding setups, keep those in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and then Blissey base a level 1 Pokemon that you hatch into level 100, and then bring that Pokemon as your competitive, or just bring your competitive Pokemon over into Pokemon Sun and Moon, since you can still do a lot in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Also, technically I can just put something under my circle pad right now. Always go up, do the daycare loop, and this can AFK give me experience. So I can technically get a Pokemon up to level 100 by just doing this overnight a couple times, and then we'll be good to go. So there's a lot of different things that Pokemon Omega Green Alpha Sapphire are still going to be usable for. Now, items do not transfer over, so there's not a big loss there. And at the same time, if say you've done everything, you have it 100% completed for any care that you have about Omega Green Alpha Sapphire, then you can technically reset your game, beat it, go for legendaries again, and then that's going to be more competitive legendaries that you can then hyper train. So there's a lot of tech. Like, it's not just Pokemon Sun and Moon, I feel, that a lot of the game's viability still comes from playing the virtual console, from playing this game right here, and then doing all the crazy things you were doing, except now it's more valuable because of Pokemon Sun and Moon. So I think that's all I've got to say about this. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.